I guarantee you that your government will do its best to provide assistance in the form of shelters, relief goods, financial aid, and post-disaster counseling. Rest assured, the government will not leave anybody behind.
The head of the Red Cross in the Philippines, Robert Kaufman, joins us from Manila. Robert, it's just almost 8:30 in the evening for you. What's the latest situation?
Yes, thank you for giving us the chance to share a little bit of the story and the needs going on here. The storm has thankfully moved off of the archipelago, but the rain and wind bands are still affecting Manila and the island of Luzon. So people are still in need of help, and we're out there trying to provide it.
What about the water levels in Manila?
Yeah, we're not out of the danger zone yet. There are still some communities in Manila City, the national capital region, that are flooded, that have waist-high water. And boats managed by the Philippine Red Cross are out doing search and rescues right now.
How many people in total? Does the government know how many people are affected? And it's not just about those who need immediate assistance. Presumably, some may need help for the next few weeks or even months.
Yes, that's right. There were at least 130,000 people who were displaced by this storm, and over 100,000 of them are in the Bicol region. And they were the ones who just suffered devastating consequences from the super typhoon Goni. There's at least another 30,000 plus in the Manila region, and they're going to need help, first aid, psychosocial support, shelter, food in the next hours and days. But as you said, over the weeks and months to come, they're going to need support to help rehabilitate their livelihoods and provide additional support.
What sort of assistance is your organization giving?
Well, right now, as I said, they're giving search and rescue, first aid. They're also doing health checks because it's complicated in the midst of a pandemic. So we're trying to identify, isolate, and refer people who might present as being ill or with COVID. And over the coming days, weeks, and months, we'll be providing shelter support, ongoing psychosocial support for those who have been traumatized, and support to help rehabilitate their livelihoods. That could include cash and other services, also mosquito nets, because we're going to be in a situation where the risk of waterborne diseases and other outbreaks will increase.
The Philippines is very used to typhoons, as you know, Robert. It has a very good central command structure to be able to provide the assistance that's needed. How much instruction are you being given at the Red Cross, and how much are you working independently? Are you being told, we really need you to go to this particular area and carry out this particular work?
Well, I have to tell you, it's been extraordinary and inspiring to see the Philippines Red Cross in action. They have exceptional capacity. They pre-position personnel and material ahead of each of these storms that help to save lives, along with work by the government to let people know. So people were in evacuation centers, and it helped reduce the death toll. Right now, they've asked for support. We're hope to issue emergency relief funds, around 400,000 Swiss francs in the coming hours. And we are currently seeking international support to help fill a funding gap that's about 7.5 million Swiss francs.
I mean, in the short term, it's the third typhoon to hit the Philippines in as many weeks, which is quite incredible. So in the longer term, how has the Philippines been preparing, even over the past few decades, because of the way the weather affects the country? How much have you seen in terms of development to make infrastructure secure, to keep people safe when these things happen so regularly?
Well, of course, infrastructure is a key component of preparedness and response, but it's only one among many. Educating people and providing capacity to local responders are also critical elements. And the country and the Philippines Red Cross have done a lot around that. Although Mother Nature always seems to be stronger than our own preparedness capacity. So we need to continue to think about what's ahead. And we have to acknowledge that climate change is playing a role in this. I mean, these people have seen 5 and 6 severe storms in the last month plus. It's an extraordinary challenge and too much for us to ask of people. So we need to do more, both to prepare locally, but also to combat climate change, because we're seeing disasters increase in severity and frequency here and all around the world.
Robert, thank you for spending time with us. And obviously, we all wish you the best of luck in the work that the Red Cross is doing there in the Philippines.